Hey guys, I am Katie.
And I am Alexis. And this
This
is the Check Your Aesthetic podcast.
It is.
Podcast.
Oh,
yes.
My audio is not
this
working.
Is actually, I
my
think.
audio is not, it wasn't
oh
recorded.
My God.
It's the same thing where it was at like 0 the whole time.
Okay.
We're getting crazy. Okay, ready? Wait, I just did a screen recording. No. Oh my God, I just did a screen recording. Okay, ready?
Yep.
1, 2, 3. Hey guys, I'm Katie.
And I am Alexis. And this is the Check Your Aesthetic podcast.
It's a podcast. You're listening to our podcast. It's crazy.
So this is like, I think, honestly, the 4th or 5th time that we have recorded that intro, because we recorded like twice before we just had our interview, and then we're like, that was boring, let's do it later. And then we just did it again, and it was like 4 times before we got it right.
Yeah. You guys know.
Yeah.
You guys know how it is over here on the Check Your Aesthetic podcast.
Yeah. We can't have an episode without some sort of issue. So
no, that would be absolutely absurd. That's not how it works. Well, I'm sure you guys are tired of hearing this, but we're recording very far in advance. So it's December. It's the day before New Year's Eve when we're recording this, but while you guys are listening to this, it's well into 2022. You've almost completed 1 month of 2022. Congratulations. I hope it's been a great month. I hope that you've had a good time, and I hope you've had much success, and I hope your New Year's resolutions are killing it, and you're killing the game, and you're rich and successful. So
yep. But also, honestly, even if we did have something to say, our episode was actually relatively long. So because Maggie from Presley Paige, the guest that we had on today, had a lot of really amazing things to say, honestly. And I was thinking in my head, by this point, everyone will know probably about, on Instagram, they will know about Kennedy.
Oh, yeah.
I think maybe let's update everyone. They will already have heard this, but we can update about Kennedy when we record the New Year's episode, which will be the week before this goes up.
Great. But anyways, everyone listening is like, that doesn't matter.
Everyone's like, already happened.
Everyone's like, this is really boring.
Already happened. But anyways, I was thinking while we were recording, like, there are going to be so many clips that we can send to Kennedy, because Maggie was saying so many amazing things.
Yeah, she was dropping some really great knowledge.
Some straight bars, honestly.
She was dropping bars in the podcast interview, dude. No, but Maggie, so today on the Check Your Aesthetic podcast, which you are listening to right now, in case you didn't know, that's just to like ground you. Like, I'm just trying to like center you and stuff. Just like make sure to stay grounded in 2022. But on the Check Your Aesthetic podcast today that you're listening to right now, this episode is with Maggie Owens, who is the founder and the owner of Presley Paige, which is like a curated gift stationery party shop. It is the cutest thing ever. I was thinking the whole time.
Her Instagram is so amazing.
Oh, it is.
Like die.
I was thinking the whole time that we were recording, I was like, I'm about to go crazy in the paint, and I'm about to order so much Valentine's Day stuff, because I have an issue where like I cannot just have like neutral decor in my home. Like there has to be some sort of seasonal decor in my home. So the moment I take down Christmas, like I got to hit the dollar spot.
Wow. When you're a mom, you're going to go crazy, aren't you?
Oh, dude, when I was in college, we had this bulletin board my freshman year outside of our dorm. It was just like this, like on the door, it was just like a bulletin board. I, every single month, changed the bulletin board myself with seasonal decor.
Wow. Love that. Honestly, I love that for you.
I was the Target dollar spots like best customer. And that was when I wanted to be an education major. So I was like saving it for my classroom. That did not happen.
That is such,
but that was
very
the
elementary school vibes.
It was the vibes. Anyway, but Maggie talked all about her experience starting like a brick and mortar shop, kind of like the purchasing behind it, genuinely so many amazing things. We talked about like predicting trends.
I think
early in advance,
even if you're not like trying to make a brick and mortar shop, I think that this episode could still very much like have insights for you when it
Absolutely.
comes
just
to
like owning a business and running a business.
owning a business and like
Taking
choosing
risks.
what is going to go to your shop and everything. It was
Absolutely.
honestly a great episode. So
Absolutely. So I guess we'll just stop wasting your time, considering we have nothing important to tell you. And we will let you go ahead and hear all of the amazing things that Maggie has to say. So enjoy the episode. Hi, Maggie. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
Is this your first podcast?
It is not. I think I've been on a podcast tour lately. No.
Oh my gosh.
It's not my
Killing
first,
it.
but I'm really excited. This is probably gonna be the most fun.
Okay,
period. That is a
that's
high
what we like to
compliment.
hear.
I mean, literally no shame to anybody else, but this is gonna be a good time. I can already
You're
feel
like,
it.
I feel the vibes. We always like anytime a
I'm
guest comes
catching
on,
them.
we're like, this is casual vibes only. We're like,
Yeah, we're like,
everybody-
please don't be nervous because you really should not be.
all our listeners know. Love it though. Okay. Well, for everybody listening who's like, who's Maggie? Tell me. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? Tell everybody about Presley Paige. Tell everybody how you got where you are. Just the whole like your life story in like however many minutes.
Gosh. Okay. So my name is Maggie Owens. I live in Fayetteville, Arkansas, which for those of you who know nothing about Fayetteville, Arkansas, you should know that that's where the University of Arkansas is. So big Razorback fans around here. I moved to Fayetteville in 2017 and I opened Presley Paige in 2020. Right before COVID, so fun times. And Presley Paige is a specialty like paper party and gift store. And really our assortment has definitely evolved over the past almost 2 years next week because of COVID and the lack of celebrating. And we've really kind of leaned into more like gift and home and paper. So if you're looking for something that's cute and aesthetic and colorful and fun and glittery or disco balls, we probably have it for you.
Yeah,
I love that so much.
We said, well, we haven't actually recorded the intro for this yet, but we will say eventually in the intro that your Instagram is just like
Killing
vibes.
it.
Like it's just vibes.
Oh, thank you.
It's just so
There's
fun.
a lot of great people that help. So I can't take all the credit.
Love that. Okay, so did you start, I guess you kind of already answered this unless you didn't. But did you start by opening your store first, or did you ever kind of sell like e-commerce, or did you just full like sign your lease and start?
Yeah, so we totally started with brick and mortar. So I turned 30 last year. I turned 31 this year. Okay. So I opened during my 30th year of birth, you could say. And I came from a career in marketing and in real estate specifically. So I worked on how to take, like, you're building a brand new apartment complex in this new city that as a developer, and how do you like take that concept or that project and get it super ingrained into the community and get people excited to live there. And so having a really strong career in real estate and placemaking is what I like to call that. It's like, how do you make this a place like people want to go and where they want to spend their time and like the coffee shop kind of vibe and like, you know, your neighbor, all those things like that really make a big impact on where you live. That was really informative into my decision to go with brick and mortar first. And you know, I'm a little bit older, right? Like this is my second career per se.
Yeah.
And so I kind of had already like been through this stage of seeing e-commerce and having this background in real estate that I wanted to have that experience with resonating with my community and like my physical community, you know, like right in front of me.
Yeah.
And creating a place for people to go. So, you know, so we opened in 2020, but if you kind of like back up in 2015, I started getting really serious about opening Presley Paige. And I looked all over for a place to open. I was actually not living in Fayetteville at the time. I was living in Springfield, Missouri. Talked to tons of banks, even after I'd moved to Fayetteville. Everyone was like, sweetie, you're so smart and this is so cute, but this is not a good idea.
Yeah.
You need to stick to real estate. I was like, no, you don't understand. Like, I really think this will work. And they're like, this just isn't gonna work.
This is a
I mean,
no.
I literally have emails that like say you are such a smart businesswoman, but this is not a good idea. And
I love that. That's like
really,
that's you gotta have people telling you no, and then it ramps you up.
like, oh yeah.
I love that.
I mean, I think for me, like the journey to opening Presley Paige was a long one. And, you know, it started with me like buying tables from a retailer that was going out of business, or like, oh, this person on Facebook Marketplace is selling a cash register.
Yeah.
This was like started in 2015. So like 5 years of like
planning
Facebook
and
Marketplace, Instagram, Craigslist, finding things resulted in me opening in 2020. All that to say, like, we started brick and mortar first, but like I was really intentional on how I did that. And especially with like not having any upfront funding, being able to afford some of those like larger investments for bigger pieces and like a build out of a store. Because I think that's one thing I hear from people all the time is like, how do you start a brick and mortar store?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, slowly but surely. And if you don't have a lot of cash and you really have an idea and you're creative and you want to make something or sell certain products, like e-commerce is great because you don't have the overhead of having a brick and mortar store.
Definitely. So I'm curious, once you first started with the brick and mortar, when you bring in e-commerce, I've always been curious with businesses that have both, how you kind of manage that, and like, especially inventory wise, like what does that even look like?
Oh my gosh. Well, definitely not a pro at that. So we opened the brick and mortar of January 2020. And we didn't, in COVID, right? And keep in mind, I still had a full-time job the first year and a month of opening Presley Paige. So not only did I have like my mom working in the store, but I had a job. So like building out the website and getting all the product descriptions. And I think for me, like there was so much that I didn't know in the beginning. So like we had just put the products in for point of sale for the brick and mortar, not thinking like product descriptions and like tagging and like SEO and like all these things that you like are like, oh crap, that's super important. Like the quality of the photos, like it didn't matter because it was just on the point of sale. And so I spent about 3 months, because we have thousands of products. Like thousands.
And I'm sure they're constantly like changing all the time.
Like, evolving, like updating.
So
Totally.
I think for us, the biggest thing in the beginning was starting with the basics. So like, does this product have a weight? What's the description? You know, does it have a good image? Is this an image that we can pull from the maker itself? Or is this an image like we need to take? So, like, is it a photo I have to take? So it took several months, but we launched e-commerce in August of 2020. And it was kind of like slow, and we really didn't have success with e-commerce until this last quarter of 2021. It's been growing, but it hasn't been anything crazy. And so we have year to date or all time to date have a mixed inventory. So if you buy something online, it's pulling from the same inventory that we have in store. So behind the store, when Erica ever opens it to come in here, you'll see like I'm upstairs in our office, but the warehouse, like behind the store, is like all of our back stock. So on top of our store, we have a warehouse. We call it Presley Paige Penthouse, and that's where we store all of the back stock, excuse me, and that's where we run all like the website stuff through. And we are probably gonna, at least what's really common when people have like the brick and mortar and online is like separating out those once you go into multiple locations. So we're on track to do that this year. So we would be ordering like inventory for the store versus inventory for online, and going with like a smaller assortment online that we feel like really good in, and like ordering deeper in those SKUs is what you see from like a bigger retailer perspective. So it's like for the store, we might order 12, but if we feel really good about this product, we might order like 45 for online to sell through, because your sell-through rate is just a little bit different.
Yeah.
With products.
So when you have like, do you constantly have people upstairs like packaging online orders, or is that just kind of like a couple days a week kind of thing? Like, what's the flow of like, I guess the priority there?
Yeah. So we have, because we're in a college town, we're so grateful to be able to employ a lot of college students.
Yeah.
That work here part-time. So our inventory team, it's really 2 part-time girls, and then my assistant Becca, and then me. We pack orders. So like all of our part-time students, they've been gone since about December 12th, which is so hard.
And that's the hard thing about a college town. I used to work at a boutique, and like it's like everybody would just leave. Like everyone's
like,
gone.
Please come back.
You're like, it's actually the busiest time of the year. Can you please come back now?
Yeah, exactly. That is exactly right. You're like, wait, you're going home, but this is the most.
This is when I need you.
Yeah. Like, I don't care about that stuff. This is when I need you.
I missed every Black Friday because of Christmas break, and they'd be like, "Are you sure?" I'd be like, "Sorry, I'm sorry." Anyway,
yes, it's like that you love those employees, but you're also like, wait, I really, really, really want you.
Yeah.
So we don't. I mean, outside of holiday, we haven't had enough bandwidth online that's a full-time role yet. So right now I have, some part-time help doing that, and then myself and Becca. So we substitute and pack orders. So like tonight I'm gonna pack all the orders that have come in from last night and today. So I mean, we're looking at like 10 to 15 a day versus like holiday, we're at like 50 to 100 a day. So it's just a different ball game,
right?
Like right now, and we're going into our slower season. So hopefully we will have enough need for somebody full time later this year.
Right. So I think the thing that like I'm most impressed by Presley Paige is like the curated vibe of everything, and just like how everything is so like unique, but also and like can stand on its own, but also fits together. So how do you do that? How does that happen?
I think part of it is just like being really picky in what we order. So like there's sometimes that we might get a product and that will like never see the light of day. Like I'll order it, I paid for it. It doesn't fit the vibes. Like it's the wrong color tone. The packaging's terrible. The quality isn't there. Like that item will never go online. So for me, it's been a lot of trial and error. In trying to really like be more careful in like how we source the products. So like what maker are we sourcing this from? Is this a small maker who's making stickers in her bedroom and like she's using like a really great Cricut and like she knows how to cut her products well and they're not pixelated, the design. So I would say like we love to work with small makers and we try to go that direction as much as possible. But that's really where we like bump up into a quality issue the most.
Yeah, it can happen.
Is like they're using a third-party printer for mugs or whatever it is, and it's just like really, really cute idea.
Yeah, it's
really
just
the quality isn't there.
Yeah.
So I would say like for us, it's one, being willing to like make the investment in the product and also be willing to like accept that it's not always going to work out. And when it comes to the curation, we try to like balance color a ton and like balance design. So like I'm really into things that feel like more stylistic or artistic in approach versus something that feels like super vector and like really flat design. But not that like we don't have those items, but it's like mixing them together. And so if I'm gonna use like a piece of art that's like vectored and more flat, I'm gonna put it next to something that's a little bit more stylized, or like a pillow that has a texture to it. So I would say like that's a big part of the curation is like, what are the colors, what are the styles, do I have
layers,
a ton of this
kind
style and not of this style? Because I think it's really easy to like be like, oh, we like this style or this style
Right,
sells, so I'm gonna
right.
do like tons of this.
Right.
But I think for us, because we do source from hundreds of different makers and like tons of artists that have different styles, it helps kind of like, it helps us have a better assortment, you know, and
Right.
like
Yeah.
more to pull from. And we rely on color a ton.
Mhm.
As you like, if you look at our Instagram,
Yep.
it's very like bright and colorful, and we
Mhm.
try to continuously like pull different products together that might not necessarily like, you might not put like this book next to a salt rock or something, but like
Yeah.
the
Right.
composition and like the colors just work well.
Work together.
So
Mhm. Definitely.
I love that. I feel
yeah.
like when I worked in retail, I never thought I'd be talking about the time I worked in retail on the podcast. It was so inconsequential.
Tell us about that.
visual merchandising like is so hard. Like, and
Oh
it's
my
so
gosh, yeah.
important. And I'm sure with having so many like smaller items, it's even harder because we just had clothes. So we're like, wasn't that hard?
Yeah.
But like it's so important because if somebody walks in and everything looks like jumbled, then they're just literally gonna be like, this is garbage, and walk out. So
Oh
I
my
feel like
gosh.
that's so important too. So like how do you like, is that all you? Do you have like, do all the girls help with that? Kind of like, how often are you rearranging the store? What's the vibes? I love virtual or visual merchandising.
Great question. So with the visuals, it kind of goes back to the product assortment too.
Mhm.
Because like sometimes products come in a box. So we always ask questions when we're ordering products like, hey, what is this packet? What does the package look like? Because if it's
Yeah.
like super cute product, but like a terrible package, but I know that I could
Mhm.
display this product out of its
Right
box,
out of it. Yep.
then I could still make it work, you know?
Mhm.
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 And we do, oh my gosh, we probably like redo a table or two a week.
Mhm.
At least like refreshing it always. And
Right.
then we do like some big resets. So like we closed for a week to set up for holiday.
Yeah.
Our holiday collection is Pink Miss, hashtag pending trademark.
I love that so much.
So yeah, so we have Pink Miss, which it takes a lot of prep. So
Yep.
that is a full hands-on deck. There's some people that they're responsible for like the exterior, and they might not be necessarily the ones who came up with the concept or the idea, but they're like good with their hands and like
Yep.
good with painting and like
Yeah.
assembling stuff. So I just hired somebody. She came onto our team in October. Her name is Dindy. Shout out. That's my girl. She is fabulous at visual merchandising. That's just been such a great skill to have on our team.
Mhm.
Before that, I just always did it myself. And then I have a friend who used to do visuals for other retailers, and she kind of like helped me when I was opening and has come in.
Yeah.
Like she helped for Christmas, and like I hire her to come in and help for like bigger things that we're doing.
Mhm.
So she's been super, super helpful for like helping me realize how tall you can go, right?
Yeah.
If you look
Yeah.
at some of our videos, like people are always, that's the thing that people comment on the most to us. They're like, how did you like go so tall? I'm like, I don't know. We just did it. Like, we're like, oh, this trash can on top of this box.
Let's
Okay,
just do it.
do
Let's do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Like that
Keep
sounds
stacking.
great for wrapping paper.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say like that was one thing that I wanted to be really intentional about, is that because we have so many small products, being able to like create dimension and texture with what, like I'm putting a pillow next to a journal or a notepad and a candle. So like it gives your eye places to land versus like
Absolutely.
sometimes when you go into a retail store, like it's a flat table. And so like everything's just like stacked flat, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I would say like it's a lot of like trial and error too, you know?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love
that.
I love the concept of just like Katie was saying, like visual merchandising, like going in and how that kind of relates to your past experience with like realty, and like how walking into a house, you want to show the experience of like this is what it would be like if you lived here.
Mhm.
And with
Yeah.
the shop, it's walking in being like, this is what it would be like if these items were in your house. And like, this is
Mhm.
like kind of
Absolutely.
the vibe of what you could have and what you could live like if you had these items. I think that's such a cool concept.
Yeah, and I think like part of retail, and especially with like boutique retail, because let's face it, like when you shop in a boutique, it's more expensive than if you're shopping at Amazon or at Walmart.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And not to say that there's like a right or wrong, but
Mhm.
we're most of the time like people are walking into a store to have a certain experience, and
Exactly.
so making sure that our like visuals are inspiring and like create a sense of like, I don't know, like fun or
Yeah.
aspiration. I don't know, like, I don't goals or whatever you want to call
Yeah.
it. It's like, how does this like make you think of something else or inspire you to like
Yeah.
change something in your life?
Mhm.
Is kind of what we're always trying to do, is like build the experience. Like our Valentine's Day, oh my gosh, that's what we're doing this
Ooh,
I
week.
bet that's so
ooh,
cute.
I'm
Yeah.
very excited.
Yeah, we close tomorrow at noon, and we don't reopen till Tuesday, because we're resetting the store for Valentine's Day, and it is going to be so freaking cute.
That's
I'm
so
But
so
fun.
I don't know. I
excited.
think part of it, like for me, is I love to use like inspiration from fashion and
Mhm.
Pinterest and art
Yep.
museums, and it's like, okay, how do I take all of that and do
Mhm.
something for us that I'm not seeing like in
Yeah, that's
typical
Right,
unique.
small
new
boutique
and
retailers?
innovative, right,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
copying. I love that. I also love how I think the explanation of what you've been saying of, moving the eye and like, having the customer like be able to visualize things. I think you do such a nice job of translating that also to socials. And
Absolutely.
I think that a lot of our listeners, if you even if you have like a service, I feel like just being able to kind of have the viewer or the potential customer be able to visualize and like have
Yeah.
that feeling of what they get either from your service or your product, I think is so important. I think you do a really nice job with that.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I feel like
I
it's
mean, I think that that's like, we're all in such a digital age too, that
absolutely.
like people are on their phones. They want to be looking at something
Yep.
that's pretty,
Yep.
and it doesn't always have to be perfect, but
Yeah.
they want to be looking at something that like excites them or inspires them. So
Right.
Yeah.
that's what we really try to use our page to like showcase products that are inspiring
Yeah.
to us.
Yeah. And I feel like
Definitely.
flat lays can be really, really hard because it can be very easy to just like put one product down.
Like a candle
Oh,
down.
Yeah, just put it down and take a picture of it. But I think like it's almost like telling a story of like, oh, do you need a gift? Like I didn't show this yet, but for everybody watching on YouTube, let's see if I can. Here's just a little scroll. Like there's a lot happening here. It's all beautiful. But like it's like, oh, does your friend like this kind of thing? Like here's a couple, here's a little gift item
Yeah.
set. Like it's kind of telling a story, and especially for those people who are shopping online, kind of being like, oh, you don't need to just go get that one thing. Why don't you get a couple things?
We need you to buy all the things.
We need you to buy out the whole store.
Yep.
I love that.
That is the true intention.
I love that. So I guess on the topic of Valentine's Day, and I guess Christmas as well, kind of how much prep, like how early are you ordering? How early are you prepping these things? Like I'm sure it's months and months in advance, but like how much prep goes into that, and kind of what is that process?
So holiday meaning like Christmas, New Year's, Thanksgiving, those are our biggest, with Christmas being like our number one holiday of the year. So we actually have already ordered some products for next Christmas, and then we will finish all of our holiday buying I would say like end of January, 1st of February will be like done for 2022 holiday. We always leave a little bit of room in the budget for
just for
some little things that might come up. But most of our ordering happens, especially for like major retailers that we work, like major brands that we work with. They sell their products so early because of the manufacturing schedule. And so we've got to stay ahead of that. I mean, like cards, stickers, there's a lot of like small things that, especially based on trend, will wait a little longer to order. But I would say like our final holiday orders happen our last order would probably be like June or July. We like to have everything in hand by the 1st of August.
Okay.
So
to prepare.
Yeah, I mean, like we have to photograph it. We've got to, check for quality of products. We've got to submit damages. I mean, you're talking like 1,200 to 2,000, sometimes 3,000 different SKUs.
Yeah.
So that just takes a ton of time to prep. Like this year, we started receiving holiday products in June and July. And so we received some like throughout the holiday season too. But we had pretty much everything in hand by the 2nd or 3rd week of October. Like even our last minute stuff, like not a holiday item, but a great gift item.
Yeah.
So even like non-seasonal items, we'll like order all of those in advance too, and like hold them for the holiday season. So like bath scrubs and bath bombs and like journals and notepads, like we'll just order all of that in advance. And so everything's like in our system, it's prepped, it's labeled, it's inventoried in, and then it's just kind of crazy. So then when we close for that week, we take everything in the store down completely, and like it's in boxes underneath our tables or underneath the displays. And then we bring in every single item that was like,
it must be so exciting. Feel like Christmas every time.
Oh,
so fun.
It's so much fun. But like now, because it's, I don't know, December 30th, I'm like, I don't ever want to see another Christmas ornament.
But in 7 months, 8 months, you'll be excited again.
Yeah,
so you'll have had your break.
Yes.
Yeah. So I am very curious. I took for my grad degree, took like a design research class and like kind of taking like more like analytical kind of things into your creative processes. So I'm curious, like, what is the balance? Because we've talked about trends and talked about, like ordering stuff. And you talked about like notepads. That's kind of like an evergreen product that like every year someone's going to want to buy, a notepad.
Everybody's always going to want a planner.
Or like a candle or like whatever. But what is the balance between like trends? Like I know that I think it was 2020. I mean, I love strawberries still, but strawberries was like a huge thing for a little while, and like the strawberry cow or whatever, and like I don't know, there's like
I don't know about
little
the cow,
things.
but I love that.
It was very TikTok. Very TikTok.
A cow, a strawberry cow.
Yeah, it
strawberry
was like
cow. I will like send you
pink cow.
It was a pink cow with like white spots. I'll send it to you.
You're like, I missed it.
I'm on the old people TikTok.
You have strawberry cow
FOMO.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, I'm curious, like, what is the balance between knowing those like evergreen products that you're going to keep going back to and just like kind of buying like maybe a new design versus like waiting and like saving space for those trending items?
Gosh, that's such a great question. So I would say like most of the products that we try to carry are evergreen, and then it's like a small amount of trending.
Okay.
So I don't know. I mean, like the trending stuff is so hard. Like checkered is super in right now. And so like that's an example of something like we had, and like smiley faces. Like we did really big smiley faces in 2020. And then 2021, like we still did smiley throughout the year. 2022, like I'm not really buying smiley because I'm kind of over it. Like even if the trend is there, like we'll have some, but I'm just kind of like don't want to see another smiley face. As I have this beautiful smiley face. I love it. I love her. So I don't know. I would say like the trending stuff is hard because it's like you're in the moment, right? Like if I see like something, can I cuss on here? I don't know.
Yes.
Okay. So like I'm sure y'all have seen that like trend right now that says like in 2021 was cute or something, but in 2022, like come on with the bad bitch magic. Like, then I'm like, okay, great. Like that's right now. So like I can't create that in house. I need to go see like does somebody else have that that I can like buy a cute sticker or buy something that's like on it right now.
away.
So it's readily, I don't want it in 4 weeks from now. Like I want it
Exactly.
right now.
Yeah.
Right.
So
So
I guess it's about just like saving like a little bit of your money or whatever to just
yeah.
hope
I
for
mean,
the
I think
best.
like you try not to like invest too much in trending products. At least I don't, because you don't want it like the trend to like start and go away,
Die and
right?
then
Like
yeah, right.
there are some things like you always know smiley faces have been around for years. So it's not that I like don't think that they're going to do well in 2022, but like
Right.
they're not going to do as well as 2021. Like that was
Exactly.
their like comeback year, right?
Yeah.
But it's like butterflies and things like that,
Yeah, but I was just gonna say
like
butterflies.
yeah, a butterfly or a disco ball or
Mhm.
I don't know. Like there's just certain kind of motifs or certain things that I don't know. We just feel like they're going to be around for a while, and so it
Mhm.
doesn't really matter.
Mm-hmm.
I would love more trending stuff, but it's so hard to find like really great trending stuff too.
Yeah,
And
quality
so
is
I think
also an
that's
issue, I
where,
think, because it, like you said, it's coming so fast.
yeah. So like the some major brands that we work with, they're not going to be able to produce the trending stuff as quickly as like one of who might be at home
Exactly.
designing something on your
Right.
iPad or whatever, and
Mm-hmm.
then you can like upload it and sell it pretty quickly.
Right.
So like that's where we really rely on our smaller makers for more trending like of the moment products.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Love that. Okay, so I'm assuming, as you kind of talked about earlier, like you have experience in like establishing us people, I don't know, yourself into the community, I guess. And we've talked about this a little bit on the podcast before, but how was kind of your process of, especially like, it seems like you kind of moved to Fayetteville and then pretty quickly, I don't necessarily, you didn't say the exact timeline, but it's not like you were in Fayetteville for like years and years and years. But how did you kind of build your local community and kind of establish like a group of girls or people that, are like loyal to Presley Paige?
Yeah. So I moved here in 2017 and I opened in 2020. So like 2-ish years, 3, 2-ish, 3. Yeah. I'm like, I'm trying to do the math in my head quickly. I'm not good at math.
3.
Yeah. I was like, I think it was 3. So I had been here some, and being in the real estate community, it's a little different than maybe like working at some jobs, because you have the company I worked for did a lot of stuff in the community already.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I would say like if you're looking to open a business, having the support of your community is like so paramount, especially in the beginning, especially like for me when I was opening in 2020 and 73 days after we opened, COVID hit, right?
Yeah.
So I tried to make friends with other people that had small businesses. I was like already, I would say like making friends with the people that like already make sense, right? Like if you go to a certain coffee shop, like why wouldn't you be friends with your barista? Or like why wouldn't you try to like build connections with the bagel shop that you go to 3 times a week?
Just be like genuine. Yeah.
So I think for me, most of the support was because like I had supported so many people, and I had been a part of their story. So
I love that.
At least like in my experience, I would never ask for support for someone that I hadn't like shown up for already,
Definitely.
So it's like you show up for your community and like help out or volunteer or donate or like if you are super into the art community, like be a part of the art community, like support them. Like I think that it's don't be afraid to get out of your comfort zone to build connections that you want to have, because 9 times out of 10 like people want to talk or like they're happy to like help you. You just have to
And I feel like the mentality almost is like if you help other people, then you don't have to ask for help. Because they're already
I posted on social media. I think it was kind of funny, like I was like, hey, we're gonna have a soft opening, and like we literally never got to have a grand opening because I was like, oh, I guess we're just like open.
We're just open.
Yeah. Okay.
I was like, it was supposed to be a soft opening, but I guess we're just like open. Because we were gonna do our grand opening in March, but then COVID, so it's like, okay, guess we're
right. I'm really curious.
I think community support is so important. So it's like, think about where you spend your dollars right now. And so if you are looking to like open a small business online or
Mm-hmm.
and brick and mortar, like where do you spend your money now? Like, are you shopping local? Because like, don't
Yeah.
expect people to shop local with you
If you're
when, like,
not,
you
yeah,
don't shop local.
right, definitely.
So I would say like that was just in the beginning. And I think the thing I learned the most too is like not relying on like your friends and family to support you. Like,
Yeah.
we love when our friends and family support us. So that's like not saying that we don't, but
Yeah.
really and truly, like the most
Eventually that
exciting
will
part
stop.
yeah. And like the most exciting part is that you want people that don't know you to shop with
Exactly.
you and like
Exactly.
become your biggest supporter and your
Mm-hmm.
advocates. And so I think that's been a huge part of, I keep saying I think, I just realized, but I believe, I know that the support of the people that we didn't know when we opened the door
Right.
is what's made all the difference, right? Because it's
Yeah.
like those people are sharing with their friends because they're
Yeah.
excited.
Yeah, like
Because
genuinely
your
they
friends
just
and
like
family might not always like what you like, or like might not
exactly
always like
Right.
what you're
but then
selling.
they feel like they need to like it's like when my mom
Yeah.
would support my business. I'd be like, that is so sweet, but I know you were just buying it because
I know you don't like it.
like
Yeah.
I know, like she'll like buy things
Like,
and be like,
I'm
you
gonna
can
go
keep
find my
them.
people now. So,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like go
Yeah.
find your people, and those would have
Right.
to be people that you already know, and that's what's
Yeah.
so awesome is like
Right.
those connections that you build with total strangers that resonate with your style or what you're doing and like
Yeah.
the vibe that you're putting out.
And that's how you grow. Like you said, they'll tell their friends who have the same taste as them, and then that's how it kind of snowballs. Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
So I'm super curious about like the kind of process before that soft opening launch that you talked about. When did you start kind of like telling the public, and like how was that like?
Oh gosh.
Because I think that's like such a like weird thing for people, especially I feel like with brick and mortar.
Yeah, because it's like you
how
can't
do you
shop
get-
yet, but
you can't shop yet, but like be excited and like, you know,
Yeah.
I don't want to like give away too much, but I also want to tell you what's happening.
Yeah,
So
I mean, because I hired a branding agency in 2016 to do the branding for Presley Paige.
Mhm.
So like I had been sitting on assets for a really long
Yeah.
time.
yeah.
So I think I told some people in my workout group, and I told like a few people. I didn't even post on social because I hadn't told my job.
We have a lot of that. Like I work at a branding agency. We have a ton of that where like we'll post like people's brands and they'll be like, delete that. My job doesn't know. I'm like, oh.
Yeah,
Sorry, girl.
yeah.
Sorry, queen.
So, I mean, I didn't tell my employer until like the end of December, like December probably 15th, 20th, something like that of 2020 or of 2019. And so then after that, I would post on my personal Instagram, but I never posted on the brand's page, which I'm the anomaly, right? So like the first post we ever had was like 2 days before we opened, and I think I posted on like January 1st, and I was like soft opening on Saturday. Like that was it. I just didn't publicize it. I'm not probably the best person to ask. But I also was just kind of like, I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just gonna figure this out. And I think it worked, like it was small, it started, and like where we started versus where we're at today are two totally different places.
Right.
Absolutely.
I think that there's I would totally now, like looking back, I would tell everyone, like I would post in Facebook groups or I would talk to mom groups or whatever, and I would try to let more people know.
Right.
But I personally did not, because I didn't know what I was doing, and I was just running around like a
we're
crazy
all
person.
about we're all about
not knowing what we're doing.
Fake it till you make it. That's literally what we're all about here.
It.
Love that. Okay, so for anybody listening who's like, that is my dream, I want to own a party fun gift stationery shop. What would be like, if you could go back and tell yourself before you started this whole journey, what would be like the one thing you would say? What is your top piece of advice that like, if you could only could tell yourself one thing, what would it be?
I would tell myself, don't be afraid to pivot when it feels like it's time to pivot. and that was a big mantra for me in 2020 because we started as like 99.9% party. Like,
Yeah.
candle? Huh? Like, I had one
Yeah.
candle, maybe 2 candles. But like COVID happened and my entire business that was set like built on birthday parties and children's parties, and that it totally pivoted, which
Yeah.
is great because now like we don't even really post about that kind of stuff. Like now
Yeah.
looking at it, people are like, wait, what, you have kids stuff?
Yeah.
Because like that doesn't really like fit the vibe of who we are. And so I think it's like, listen to your customer, listen to the people that are shopping with you, and don't be afraid to like go in a different direction if that's where the wind
If
is
that's
blowing
working,
you.
right?
Yeah, it's like go where it works versus trying to like
Force something.
or something that isn't grabbing, especially in the
Totally.
beginning, because it's so damn expensive, like
Yeah.
you have to buy products and products have to sell and you need products to sell and move so you can bring new products in.
Yeah.
And so like look at the stuff that's selling, and if you're like already established, look at what's selling and then go that direction. But also like you haven't opened and you have this idea, but then you realize like, okay, this isn't really making sense. This doesn't pencil financially, but this thing does. I just don't like it as much. Just try it and see what happens.
Yeah.
I think like for me, so often I was afraid to take the risk. Like it took me so many years, not just because I couldn't get funding, because I was terrified. Like I didn't want to do that. Like I mean, I wanted stability, right? Like I had this job, I was making great money, and the thought of having like potentially no money or like becoming a failure.
Right.
Yeah. Scary.
And I think like I keep saying I'm telling you. People, if you're listening, I don't just think about these things. I really believe them. But it's like when you do it, you learn so much. So just effing do it, just do it and try.
Right.
And I know that's so much easier to say now because I've done something, but my best friends, everyone was telling me just like, do it.
Yeah, just do
it.
it.
I didn't. And the biggest regret I have is not doing it sooner.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, think about all the years that I wasted working really late hours at this sucky job that I didn't love so much.
Yeah.
Right.
This boss I didn't like so much, or whatever it was, like all the energy that I put into that could have been put into something else if I would have just like put the bullshit in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I love that. Okay. It's random question time. Everybody's favorite time.
Here we go.
So the first random question is one that I'm almost 150% sure we've answered before, but we're doing it again.
Okay.
So it is, what is your favorite candle scent? Basic question. I know there's like 1,000, I could say 1,000 different answers, but Maggie, you want to start?
Yeah. So I have the pleasure of smelling a lot of candles. My favorite is like crisp white linen. I feel like it's such a good scent that everyone loves the smell of it. Most people love the smell of a clean house. And I think that it just like makes me feel more productive when it smells clean around me.
I love that.
Definitely.
Mine is definitely some sort of currant, like red currant,
red currant. Oh, that's such a good candle.
Yeah, that's red currant was the one that they burned at the place that I used to work at. And so like it's like, I swear I walk into a room and can't even smell it anymore because it's a part of my body now. I like don't even
this
smell
is
it.
a red currant sample actually.
Oh my gosh. I have like 1,000 of those because they would give us the samples at work and or like the smaller 10. So I have like just so many of them. But yeah, I love red currant. Alexis, what's your answer? I already know your answer. I don't like it.
You don't know my answer then. My answer is lemon. I think that it's just like,
interesting.
Yeah, it's the
answer
we're gonna
say
Katie,
chocolate.
Yeah, Katie thought I was gonna say this candle.
It's like chocolate cake.
It
is not the vibes.
But okay, see, I don't really like super sweet scents. Like I straight up don't like that. But this candle from Yankee Candle, the chocolate layer cake, it just, to me, it smells like Gilmore Girls, which is my favorite show. I used to light this in like 7th grade and watch Gilmore Girls in my room.
It's just nostalgic. It's nostalgic. I get it.
Yeah, it's nostalgic. But lemon, I think like in any room at any time, any season is like gonna brighten your day, I think. So yeah, lemon, I would say, is my answer. Final answer.
So
I can get on that. Okay. So the next and final random question is, if you could go back to one era in time, when would you go back to and why? This one's hard.
That one's hard.
Oh, okay. I see. I feel like this one's easy.
All right.
70s for sure. Like,
Okay.
I'm super into 70s fashion and like the carefreeness of like their style and the patterns. The hair, not so much, but that's just because I don't know how to curl my hair, and I would be really in trouble if I was in the 70s. Yeah, but like the 70s is so great. Like, think about the 60s, but a little bit more refined.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I like that answer. I'm like rewatching Bridgerton right now. So like earlier I was watching it and I was thinking like that would just be like so like great, but then like women literally have like negative rights.
Yeah, no
like,
rights.
You have not a single right.
And
like,
the corset though.
Yeah, but like
worse than Spanx. Right?
I know, but then I like everything is so beautiful and like all
you
of
romanticize it. So
yeah, and I mean like actual life would be absolutely heinous. Like you literally like the whole show is about how like the only thing you can do as a woman is get married. But then you think back and, you know, women couldn't have credit cards until like 1970 something. So it's just like, there's never a good time to be a woman. But, you know, I would have to also probably say like 70s to be realistic. But I do think that like all like the early 1800s is just very beautiful and everything's beautiful. But
so beautiful.
Then again, no women's rights. So just,
yes,
you know,
it's just kind of vibes if you look at it from an outside perspective.
It's vibes if you ignore literally everything that actually
else
happened. Like,
yeah.
Well, I feel like the 60s and 70s are very like style is different, but like there was a lot of like civil rights movement.
Yeah,
it was very progressive.
Period.
Yeah.
A lot of progression for like women's rights
Absolutely.
and you know, African American rights. So I feel like that would be like historically that would be a super cool time to be a part of.
To be around it.
Know,
yes,
yeah. And I mean our
definitely.
parents, my parent, like my mom was born in 70, so she would probably hate that I just said that.
My parents were born
my
in the
mom
60s.
is actually 29. She's actually 30 years old, guys.
Yes.
Well,
I mean, my stepdad was
like
born in
70,
1960, so yeah. So for me, I was gonna say the 90s, but then I realized that is when I actually was born. But what I mean is that
that was when I was living.
You want your prime to be in the 90s.
That's when I wanted like I want my prime. Like I wish I really honestly when my parents were born. So my parents were born in 68. So they like were in high school like 80s, like late 80s, and then we're in college in like early 90s. And that's like
I was born in 1999, so I was born in the 90s.
Wow, we love a 90s queen.
90s baby.
But anyways,
1999.
I know you're a baby.
Like,
I know I'm a baby. I'm 22. Yeah.
No, it's fine.
But really for my style, like my music taste is all 80s and 90s. Like I do not listen to like contemporary music really at all. And I have like my dad's old Letterman jacket that I wear and like just really everything in my life except for like my Kate Spade stuff, but you know that's irrelevant, is like very inspired by the 90s.
Fine. You're like living your Gen Z life out as you're like
yes. Yes, exactly. I was born in 97 though, so I am a cusper, but you know.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. One of my assistant yesterday, it was raining here and she had on like long jeans, you know, because skinny jeans are canceled or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And it was raining, so her jeans all got wet. I was like, ha ha ha.
It would be nice to be wearing skinny jeans. Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is why I will never wear those kind of pants again. I've been there, I've done that. I hated walking through the mall as a teenager with my wet pants.
That is hilarious. I love that.
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
Funny.
Okay, well, Maggie, why don't you go ahead and plug yourself, tell everybody where they can find you on socials, what your website is, all that good stuff.
Okay, so you can find me personally at MP_Owens on Instagram. Private, but I'll accept you.
If you're nice.
Yeah, and Presley Paige is at Shop Presley Paige on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, all the things. And our website is just presleypage.com. If you have any questions, you can shoot me an email at maggie@presleypage.com. I'm happy to help.
Amazing. Well, thank you guys for listening. Be sure to leave us a rating and review on wherever you listen to your podcasts and subscribe to keep up with our weekly episodes.
And then follow us on TikTok at Check Your Aesthetic and over on Instagram at Check Your Aesthetic Podcast, and our personal accounts, Shop Presley Page and Katie Creative Co. and AlexisAdams.co. And we will talk to you next week. Bye, guys.
Bye.